So this week I'm speaking about truthfulness as one of the Parami that we've been working with over the past number of weeks. So when we speak about truthfulness, we might think about not lying, and not lying is definitely part of truthfulness. But really, we talked about truthfulness. We've talked about not lying in the second of the Parami, which is on morality. And so in that section, right speech was an important element. One of the precepts, not to not lie and to speak the truth. And to speak the truth in skillful ways that we talked about at that time. So refraining from telling lies is part of truthfulness. But the truthfulness is, in this parami, it's a deeper development of, we could say, integrity, honesty, really being honest with ourselves. In a way, the capacity that we develop to be aware, to be self-aware, to tune in to the heart of wisdom that is innate to all of us, is a way of living from the truth that we can open to, that we can attend to, that we can include and not push away or deny. To see things, to know what is operative, what's driving us, what's motivating us in any moment. We need to look into the nature of our thoughts, our attitudes, our biases. So just distinguishing our assumptions and biases from really how things truly are. And so there's a discernment that happens. This discernment comes from the clarity of mind that we develop through mindfulness. So mindfulness is just that capacity to be present, to attend, without getting caught up in our preferences, without getting caught up in our judgments, without getting caught up in our labels of, well, I'm a good person, so I don't really, I'm not biased. I'm not being unkind. I'm not angry. So really just bringing that, the quality of the capacity to know in this moment. So of course, our meditation practice is so helpful, because in our meditation practice, we develop that capacity to tune into the heart, to feel the body, to calm the body, to recognize what is the energy of the body in this moment. Sometimes we sit down in meditation. I certainly experience this sometimes, and I sit down. And even just doing the preliminary things that I do in meditation before I sit down in my practice help me to collect that capacity to attend and be present. I do 3 bows to the Buddha, in my meditation room. I chant the refuges, and in the chanting of the refuges, I stand with, the Buddha and the innate awakened nature. I stand in that. I bring that to mind. I call that forth. And the Dharma, the teachings, and the Sangha, the community of practitioners, and those beings who have awakened in the teachings, in the Dharma, and those beings who are awakened and who are alive right now. There are awakened beings on this planet right now who support us in our practice. So sometimes, just sitting down and attuning to the body, and I recognize that there energetically the body, the mind is carrying a kind of drivenness. It could be sadness. It could be resentfulness. It could be agitation, anxiety, and so in my practice, just giving space for that to be accepted, received as it is, recognized, is a way of bringing wisdom and care and kindness to that space, and allowing those energies which arise from the conditionings of my life, our lives. It allows them to release, to let go, and for me to arrive more fully in the body and mind and the heart. And Ajahn Sucitto points out that the other parami, they're not necessarily practices that we do in a linear fashion, where we're cultivating these practices in different ways as we live our lives, and what's happening in our lives, calls them forth. And also, they are presented in a way in which each parami is built on the qualities that were developed before them. And so the first parami of generosity and the second of morality help us to situate ourselves and live deeply from the truth of our interconnectedness, our interdependence. With generosity, that recognizing that we're not separate and just thinking of our own needs and, keeping for ourselves, is not living in a way that's in alignment with the truth. That then when we share, when we recognize the needs of others, other human beings, other beings, we are we're cutting through, where we're dissolving that illusion of separateness and independence. And in morality, ethics, we're recognizing that our behavior has consequences, and what we do impacts others and can harm others. And so we are we're living from an awareness and an intention of non-harming. then wisdom. So, sorry, the next is renunciation, which is a skillful letting go. So renunciation is, it's not just renouncing in some major way, like, a monk or a nun would renounce worldly life. Renunciation happens in a moment when we are aware that anger is welling up and that we're about to say something harmful, about to say something hurtful, or when we're being driven by sensual desire and we're about to grab something that really we don't need or that doesn't really belong to us. And so recognizing that and letting go, and it's supported, our renunciation is supported by generosity and morality, and it's deepened by the next parami of wisdom, which is insight into the nature of experience, the impermanent, the unreliable or unfulfilling nature, and the selfless nature of experience. And we recognize that, what we grab, what we grasp is not going to really ultimately fulfill us in any lasting way. And the harm we cause by lashing out is just going to keep that wheel of suffering in motion. So, so this discernment, this mindfulness-based discernment of wisdom supports this deeper parami of truthfulness and balanced energy as well. Energy is the next parami after wisdom, which supports and empowers wisdom. That bringing forth, rather than just letting the compulsion or the reactivity wash through us, we summon forth the energy of becoming mindful, and the patience. Patience also is a way of continuing that energy of attending and bringing care. So patience is the next parami, that ability to bear with something which is difficult. So, so all of these kind of support are a foundation for this quality of truthfulness. Truthfulness is a deepening of this capacity to see when our moods, our impulses, our emotions are coming up and driving us, and we can know that it's just the changing flow, and we feel grounded more in the witnessing of these than in what is trying to hook us and pull us into the energy of grasping or aversion. Yeah, and relationships are such an important way in which we practice truthfulness, where we can get so caught in the projections that we put on people and the how we imagine they're seeing us, and so we can, we can want people's approval, and we can not want to upset people, and so all of these can keep us from staying grounded in what we discern to be true. And so this is not, a kind of like all of our practices. It's not something that we switch on, switch off. Sometimes we can feel unclear about something, about what's right for us, what's right for the relationship, what's the right thing to do. And when I say right, I don't mean right versus wrong. I mean, seems most beneficial, considering our own well-being and the well-being of others. So sometimes there's not a clear right or wrong in a particular set of conditions. There's, what seems the best possibility in this moment. And so that discerning is something that we do with care, and we do with consideration, and we do with a sense of awareness of the impact on others. So this truthfulness is something that we find our grounding in the truth. We find it's a finding, and it's a finding again to feel grounded. And the body can help us to know when we are losing this sense of groundedness, when we're getting caught up, and just coming back and honoring a space, giving ourselves this space to discern can be a process that honors truth. So I'll just pause the recording and so let's move on to the sitting, and we'll take the time to find what posture, and it might not be sitting, it might be lying down, it might be standing. So asking your body, what is the most supportive posture right now to meditate? And feeling the earth supporting us, supporting the body. Relaxing into that support, trusting it. And bringing the back into alignment. Bringing a quality of energy lifting from the base of the spine through the crown of the head and tucking the chin in. And if you're in a supine position, so lying down position, just adapting these instructions to whatever feels most appropriate. Bringing an awareness to the whole body, a sense of the whole body and the position that the body is in, just that proprioception of knowing the body position, the body posture. And as best you can, bringing a sense of inner awareness to the body, the interoception, the knowing the body from within, aware of sensation arising and manifesting and passing away in the body, tingling, soreness, pressure, warmth, coolness, contraction, tension, expansion, breath. And an invitation to have a sense of presence in the whole body. So mindfulness of the body, in the body, expanding through the body rather than narrowing and focusing tightly on a particular place in the breath. Rather opening up the attention to kind of zoom out and feel the whole body. Not zooming out in the sense of removing your attention from the body, looking at the body, but from within, opening up the attention to include the whole body. And you might notice that there are parts of the experience of the whole body which feel a bit unpleasant, parts which feel neutral, parts that feel pleasant. Perhaps parts that feel numb or that feel kind of in shadow in the awareness of the body. So all of that, there's no perfect way. You might feel the attention centers more on particular parts of the body than others. And just hold that lightly, it's fine. Everything that manifests is fine. Just noticing, how is it to be present in the body, allowing the body to be known as it is. And as part of this experience of the whole body, I invite you to explore the whole breath in the whole body. So you might notice that the body is breathing. That might be known in the rising and falling of the chest, the belly. Maybe noticing that the back also is part of the breathing. The air moving through the nostrils, the windpipe, the subtle movement of the shoulders. Perhaps even a subtle change in how you experience the pressure of the body as it's seated or lying down or standing with each breath. Just bringing that meditative quality of mindful investigation of the whole body breathing. At some point, you may simply drop into this sense of being embodied. The breath is there, the body is there. The quality of stillness, presence. Stability, stability of attention. This may be something that arises and persists for a minute or more or less. Notice this quality of being embodied, presence in the body. If it arises for you, and notice the Vedana, the feeling tone of this embodied being, this embodied mindfulness, embodied awareness. The quality of well-being, contentment, or joy. Balance. However you experience it. This noticing the enjoyment of meditation greatly nourishes our practice. Not something to grasp for or to feel that if it's not present, it's that your practice is wrong. But just to notice when it arises, as it naturally arises in practice, as a development of mindfulness in the body. as the body begins to calm down, and the mind begins to calm down, we may begin to feel more spaciousness of mind, a spaciousness within which we can see how thoughts come and go. And recognizing how thoughts come and go, we begin to understand that thoughts are not the ground for living from truth. We find the ground of truth in the silence, silence underneath the thoughts, the silence which witnesses the thoughts, which knows the thoughts. We can think one thing and then another thing. Thoughts don't offer us stability for truthfulness. We find the stability in embodied awareness. And in this embodied awareness, we are embodying the care, the respect, to be fully and deeply honest with ourselves, first of all, to not hide the truth from ourselves. The truth of what we feel, the truth of what is present for us in this very moment. Not an idea of the truth, but what is present in this moment. So as we come to the end of this practice, I invite you to connect to the goodness of what you've experienced in your sitting practice and in gathering together in the Sangha. blessings, and offer these blessings, this merit, for the well-being of all, to ease the suffering of all, for the happiness, well-being, and liberation of all beings everywhere.